also look at what the UN is saying in recent times. We just heard the UN speak on this matter a couple of hours ago, where they are also not in support of what the US has done. Speak to us as an advocate for good governance, Anyogo. What can you make of all of this?
Well, I hope you can hear me very well.
Yes, we can.
Because yes, the audio is very poor here, but I could listen. But then, in all of this, let us be practical. I've heard people talk about sovereignty of nations, United Nations Convention charters on non-interference. Now, but we forget one critical element, which is good governance. You know, if you, as a president or as a leader of a country, on the guise of good governance, on the guise of sovereignty, you decided to lock up your country, to brutalize your people. Look, same people all over the world will not stand still and say because you claim sovereignty. All of us know what Maduro presidency was. I mean, if you come to the African continent, look at what is happening in Uganda. There's no freedom of electoral contest. Even in Cameroon here, then you now hide under the guise of sovereignty. And so you don't want anybody to interfere. So we also have to be very practical. People fail to understand that the United States is actually the United Nations. Because they are the host of the United Nations and they contribute almost 80% to their expenses. The income of the United Nations is basically funded by the United States. And you think they will not have a say? They will always have a say. So the question and the mind, or what I'm saying this morning is that good governance is a yardstick. Because if you claim that your sovereignty has been violated and you are not doing good governance, you don't expect some sane one to just fold their hands. Let me say this very quickly. In 2019, I think that was during Trump presidency, that was when I was elected as a member of the Chatham House. And some of the policy makers presently in Trump's administration were my colleagues in the Chatham House. And I knew exactly their mindset. And I had come out to say, look, even to the Nigerian government officials, look, this is how Trump thinks. But unfortunately, in this part of the climb, nobody takes anybody seriously. We are not a proactive country. We are always very, very reactive. Otherwise, I know, with the greatest respect, how Trump thinks. And that is because he's influenced by a lot of factors. He's a businessman. He has some religious inclination too, being a very good Christian that he is, according to him. And then, of course, he is not that kind of person that will follow technicality, that he has to go and wait for the United Nations to pass a resolution. He will take it out because the interest of the Americans, that's why I said America first. The interest of the Americans is paramount to the president of America, which is Donald Trump. So he's not going to sugarcoat like the Democrats. He will go all out. And as African leaders have to be very, very careful. Because the new world order includes the fact that if you win elections, if you impose yourself on your people, look, that sovereignty will not protect you. That's the new world order we are in. So no matter how we criticize from today to tomorrow, as far as Trump presidency is concerned, if you are seen to be violating your own constitution that guarantees freedom of expression, freedom of participation in the electoral process, and all the architects of good development, then is a problem.
Hello, some will disagree with you completely because some have said that if a dictator does the bidding of America, they don't care. If a dictator violates human rights and is America's friend, nothing happens. Take, for instance, the Arab world. They are monarchical, they are not democrats. Even Trump himself tried to rig election in America. And now in Venezuela, if it is true that it's because of election that were rigged, that was the problem. How come after Maduro had been captured, Trump himself is saying that the lady who won the election is not qualified to be the president of Venezuela? He said he brought Maduro's vice. Now he's serving as acting president. Then number two, if it was about drugs, Trump himself, just last month, released a former Honduras president who was jailed in America for 40 years for drugs. He released him. And now, after Maduro had been captured, Trump is talking about oil. That in all of this, it's about oil, nothing more. If you do America BD, anything you do to people, they don't care. And these are facts that are verifiable.
Well, for me, like you rightly stated, it's also about the American interest. Let us come home. What was Nigeria, or what is Nigerian interest in interfering with the coup in Benin Republic? Am I correct? I think Benin Republic is Togo. Benin Republic. Our military were set there. So you ask yourself, what was the interest of Nigeria? After all, democracy must not be the only form of governance. So what I would like to know, the fact is that it's the interest of the country that is paramount. And that's why I said, coming back home, let's also look at our interests, our national and our international interests in our engagement. Because what I would like to know, there is no 100% holier than thou of any country. It also boils down to the interest of the country too. What I would like to know, the Russians and the Chinese have some dominance lately, and the Americans will not just fold their hands and sit, especially knowing that Venezuela is just at their backyard. So it's a combination of national interest and, of course, good governance will always be a yardstick too. Because if you, as a president, you are not obeying the constitution that brought you into office, it calls for concern. So how to say that? It doesn't mean that America does not have interest. They have interest. And Donald Trump has clearly stated that the oil, he is going to participate in harnessing the oil of Venezuela.
But Dad, I'm very sorry, I must disagree with you there.